is very difficult. So where is best? It's very difficult to get network. So let me give you an update while he reconnects. So what's happening is that today there was a total blackout on the news of the deployment of the military. And most people in Zimbabwe right now don't know that the military has been deployed in Harare, especially those in the rural areas. And we're going to get a point where a lot of things are going to happen. And as those things happen, the developments are going to start being heard outside of Zimbabwe. And I anticipate that at some point, there's going to be a network shutdown, that they're going to shut down the network in Zimbabwe, or they're going to shut down the platforms. So I'm believing that this is coming within the next day or two. And I think General is back. So let me put him on while we digest what I just said. Yeah. Right. Are you able to talk?
What I can say is we all know. Yes, I can hear you, Gambagwe. What we can say, what I can say now is we all understand the political dynamics in Zimbabwe and ZANU-PF, what they are capable of. If we go back in time, you will find out that they are capable of switching off the internet for the people not to understand what is happening. And the propaganda that was sent by Nick Mangwana saying that it is a routine drill, the Zimbabwean army, the ZNA, they have acres of land. If they want to test their equipment, they can test it there. Inkomo Barracks is big. KG6 is big. That's not only the barracks that we have. We have so many barracks in Zimbabwe. I cannot name them and finish them because they are a lot. So how would they do their drills in the middle of the city? And in the capital city of Harare, in the middle of the day, you roll out tanks of soldiers in the city center. And how do you do a drill in the middle of the day? The questions to be answered. The people of Zimbabwe need answers. Why would you do a drill in the middle of the day? Which brings us to the current situation. If you look at it, they are still in the streets as we speak. They are parked in the streets as we speak. And we've been told that it's they are checking their artillery, they are checking their equipment. But if they are checking their equipment, how would they do it in the middle of the town? Are we in the middle of a national crisis? Because those tanks, for them to be in Harare, in the city center, they should be a national crisis that requires our army to be in the streets. We are back in 2017, where the ZANU-PF again, they forced Mnangagwa to resign. The army itself is involved now in negotiating the deal between the country of Zimbabwe and Emerson Mnangagwa. There are so many stories that I cannot say now and confirm now that I've heard through my sources. But what I can disclose to the Zimbabwean people is, Vanave Zimbabwe, it is time now for us to be free. We need to support our army in their endeavors to free ourselves. But it is not clear where are we heading. It is not clear how are we going to do it because the army is totally in control. And they will not do drills in the middle of the town, in the broad daylight. Hence, I'm saying this is not a drill. And if it is a drill, the Zimbabwean people could have been notified about a drill that is going to happen in the middle of the city, in the broad daylight. So Zimbabwean people, let's not be fooled by the propaganda that has been spread by Nick Mangwana that it's a routine drill that they are performing. That artillery, if you look at it, it is brand new. They purchased it from China. We still have videos and pictures of that artillery when it was purchased from China. So why would they test it in the middle of the town? Zimbabwean people, let's not be fooled, and do not let them capture your minds with propaganda of saying it is a routine drill. Yes, we understand that our army, they do perform some drills in town, but it will be the regular armies doing their duty and training. But this was not training. What are they still doing in the streets as we speak? What are they still doing in the middle of the city center in Harare now? They are still there. And they say that is 21 trucks. My people have counted more than 21. There are a lot. And there are a lot army personnel in the streets right now because they are negotiating a deal with Mnangagwa. And Mnangagwa has to go now. Because if he does not go now, Zimbabwe will not going to be Zimbabwe. We are going to lose a lot more than we expect. So this is not an army drill. Let them tell us something else. How can they do a drill as we speak? They are still performing the drill. Are they performing a whole day and a whole night drill in the city center? No, they are still there as we speak. So how
Okay,
can we say that it's a drill? And if it's a
right.
drill, our constitution actually, or their army constitution actually states that the people of Zimbabwe has to be notified of a drill that is being that is taking place within the army, within the public confinements. So
Okay,
we have not
I
been
get it,
notified
President.
about an army
Yes, I
drill
get it,
that is
and I think
gonna
there's a
involve
delay
terms.
between us. I get it, and I think there's a delay in our network. So when I talk, I hear you after a while.
Yes.
Okay, so what I suggest to do is let's wrap it up. I think we've had enough news for today. What is your expectation for tomorrow?
My expectation tomorrow is to hear that Mnangagwa is finally agreed to resign, because we cannot have a rogue president who is threatening to go into to overlap his term. My expectation is to hear that Zimbabwe is free from those who adopted a colonial ruling system, the black people, the black brothers who have adopted the colonial system, and they are using it on other black people. The people of Zimbabwe have suffered enough, so enough is enough. I'm expecting to hear that Mnangagwa and his Garwe and his Nick Mangwanas, they have resigned from office. And I do not mind having other people to take over the reins in Zimbabwe as long as Mnangagwa and his minions are off. I will be happy. And I will be happy to hear that Zimbabwe is free. I'll be happy to hear that the Zimbabwean people now they have the freedom of opinion, the freedom of speech, the freedom to enjoy their own country. That's what I'm expecting. Mnangagwa should step down now. 2028 is too far, and 2030 it is too far. Mnangagwa should step down now. ZANU PF, I'm not against ZANU PF. As I always tell you, ZANU PF is the custodian of our liberation struggle. So I don't have a problem with ZANU PF. I don't have a problem with MDC. I don't have a problem with Nelson Chamisa. I do have a problem with the rogue president who introduces policies that are against our people. I am against a rogue president who threatens to overlap his term. Our constitution clearly states that it is 2 terms and there is no extension. I'm against the people who actually deprive of other Zimbabweans their right to freedom. And the war veterans should be respected because they fought for the country called Zimbabwe. Some of them, they died for the country called Zimbabwe. So they should be respected. They should not be politicized or weaponized to say they belong to ZANU-PF. They don't belong to ZANU-PF. They belong to the Zimbabwean people. They are the heroes of our time. They are the heroes of our country. So I'm against the 2030 mantra. I'm against a rogue president who introduces policies that deprive the Zimbabwean people of their rights. So I expect him to step down. That's what I expect to hear tomorrow. I thank you.
Okay, so thank you very much, President. As I said, our network is very bad today. There's such a big lag between me and you, and I'm sure that this will be sorted out tomorrow. We're going to be coming back And as I said, I expect the network to be cut in Zimbabwe, the internet, sometime within this weekend. So if you are someone using the local networks, I don't know what you can do, but I expect the network to be cut because of what has happened. There's a blackout on the Zimbabwean news on what is happening. There was no report on ZBC on military deployment since morning, and my expectation is that they will pretend as if nothing is happening. And so, if you're in Zimbabwe, expect to
Yes,
have
they
no
are.
network. Yes.
Yes, they are actually blacking out the people of Zimbabwe because they don't want you to march into the streets. Because the more you march in the streets, the more you gather in the streets, will actually send a message to the international world that the Zimbabwean people have spoken. The Zimbabwean people, your opinion matters most, which means if you are in the streets with the army supporting the army, it's not a coup. It's the Zimbabwean people who are speaking that they do not want Emerson Mnangagwa. So they will try their best to cut the network to not give you the news that we are negotiating a deal. We want Mnangagwa to go. We are negotiating his exit deal. And the Zimbabwean people have spoken. So the more the Zimbabwean people understand what needs to be done, the more they will be in the streets. So Mnangagwa does not want that to happen. If it happens, will actually send him out of the office. So they will try as much as they can not to put the people in the streets, not to inform the people. They are depriving people of information, which is the critical, which is critical at this moment. We want Mnangagwa to go. We don't want to live in exile forever. We want to come back home. We want to enjoy Zimbabwe since Zimbabwe is our trust fund from our forefathers. And Mnangagwa will try as much kuti tinosangana kuzimbabwe vana vezimbabwe tinofanirwa kunosangana kuzimbabwe, and Mnangagwa wants to block that by cutting the network, by blacking out everyone, by depriving people of information, by not sending the information.
Okay. Thank you very much, General Wende. And I'll see you again tomorrow. We'll try to get more people to come in the evening so that we get more opinions and more information. I would like to thank you because you were the first person to put out the word to say that the military is on the move. And I'm sure everyone knows and respects your sources. I would like to thank you, General. Is there anything else you want to say before we close?
What I can say to the Zimbabwean people is aluta continua. Makudo zvakatya akazofa ari mangani, hakuna guva ratakazoona rekunzi makudo aya ndo akatya, and the freedom is coming. I will always support whoever has an agenda to free Zimbabwe. I will always support those who have fought for Zimbabwe. I will always support those who have died for Zimbabwe. And Zimbabwean people, let's all come together, regardless of our political diversities. We are Zimbabwean people, and we deserve to be free, free from the shackles of these 2030 minions who are trying to subject us into a live president. I will always support those who are against a rogue president who is trying to suppress the black brothers and the other black brothers who have fought and died for this country. So what I can say now is, Zimbabwean people, let's all come together and fight for our country. Let's all come together and we will solve our difference in another day. We can disagree in so many aspects of politics and so many aspects of life, but what we can agree is Mnangagwa must go. Now, not tomorrow. Today, he must go. That's what we can agree. And everyone say no to 2030. Vangati Sunge, they can arrest us. They can kill us, but they will not arrest the idea of freedom. They will not kill the idea of freedom. And Zimbabwe shall be free. I thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, General Wende. And I'll see you, as I said, on Friday. We'll have you here again tomorrow if something really urgent happens.
Thank you, Gambari.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
And we'll see you soon. Right. So I would like to thank all of you for watching. Let me recap what has been said here. So General Arwende has said What happened today was not a drill. A drill does not happen without notice. And the soldiers are still on the street as we speak. Zimbabwean soldiers are deployed in Bulawayo and in Harare, and also in other smaller areas. So there's been a deployment. I've explained to you who deployed. And Nelson Chamisa has spoken on what is happening right now. You can go and check out the Twitter of Nelson Chamisa. Always very interesting to see what Nelson Chamisa about the situation. So Nelson Chamisa normally doesn't speak without a reason. So let me show you what Chamisa has said today. And as I speak here, I want you to understand what I just said. Tomorrow or the day after, the internet is going to be cut in Zimbabwe. If what I expect to happen happens, so be ready to have no internet. Do not send your kids to school without a plan. Plan in advance. And remember what they said. It's going to happen at 8:30. The notice is going to come at 8:30 at night. So that is when you're going to get the notice of what is going to happen. So leadership is integrity and sincerity. To lead, you need wisdom, not just brute force. In leadership, never indicate left and then turn right. That's dishonesty. Leadership is about integrity and honesty. Your word must matter. Your word is your bond. Your words must be as good as gold. Say what you mean what you say. Otherwise, it's trababulous. So everything is trababulous under Mnangagwa. And as I said, Opamchinguri's husband, his father has passed away, and Chiwenga went over there today. He was with Opamchinguri while Mnangagwa was officiating in Harare at the swearing-in ceremony of a minister, a few deputy ministers, some magistrates, and some commissioners. So you are seeing the army sitting on the street. They are still there, and they are not being broadcast locally. So the people that are broadcasting the army are people inside the army. So the information we're giving you is coming from inside the army, and it's also coming from people who are taking video with their phones. So my expectation is that tomorrow and leading up to Friday, when Mnangagwa is going to be asked to resign. So Mnangagwa is going to be asked to step down on Friday. You are going to see some form of network being cut down, especially at 8:30 tomorrow or 8:30 on Friday. They will try to cut the network. So that is Mnangagwa's people. And if that happens, it means on Thursday night, you may not have internet. And on Wednesday night, today, you have internet, obviously. So tomorrow, expect something at 8:30. And Mnangagwa will be preempting the war veterans and the military. So they will try to shut down the network sometime tomorrow. So if I was the war veteran, I'll put the notice before 8:30. I'll put it today or tomorrow at 8:30 in the morning, because he didn't say what 8:30. Unfortunately, he said at night. So it's going to be kind of crazy if he gives the notice at 8:30 during the day. So tomorrow is very important. We are going to see something. If your kids are going to school, make sure you have a plan. Tell them, if I don't come, if you don't have network, if your transport doesn't come, go to this place, discuss with the teachers, schools, make sure I've got a plan. These things I'm telling you here are very, very important, because I expect a shootout of some sort if there is going to be a fight. Yesterday, I tried to call Sean Mnangagwa here. I won't tell you what happened after, but something happened. So anyway, let me tell you. So he did come back to me, and I asked him if he was involved in a shootout at KG6, and he refused to say. So he refused to say if he had a shootout at KG6 or not. So remember, there has been a story that there was a shootout when Sean Mnangagwa was trying to snatch Geza from KG6, and soldiers inside shot back, and the people had to run away. So I did talk to Sean Mnangagwa, and he said, oh, okay, he didn't want to say if he was involved in the shootout or not. So I'm telling you something that happened yesterday and this morning. I didn't make that inquiry if he was involved in the shootout or not. So in short, we're at a very critical moment, very, very critical moment. What has happened today is everything that I've been predicting. Everything I've been saying here is what has happened. Apologies about that because of all these network issues that we're facing here. But what I'm saying is we've been predicting correctly. We are now at a point where the fighting has started. But I want you to remember what I said. There's one thing that is still missing. So let me show you what is missing. So we said day one is this day when Chiwenga boycotted on the 24 March, sorry, on 31 March 2024. Chiwenga boycotted Mnangagwa and Wikino. After this day, Chiwenga has never gone anywhere where Wikino is. Chiwenga and the military have never gone anywhere where Wikino is present after that day. So they've made a statement that they don't want Wikino, they don't want corruption. So that has been made. A statement has been made in that regard. Then what I said is that the next day, the next important event is when Chiwenga and Mnangagwa are going to fight each other in public. So Chiwenga stands here and says something about Mnangagwa, and Mnangagwa stands here and says something about Chiwenga. That has not yet happened. So it's very important for you to understand that before everything ends, you are going to see a public fight, an exchange of words between Chiwenga and Mnangagwa. That has to happen. And then you're going to see the firing of Chiwenga. You will see the firing of Chiwenga or an attempt to fire Chiwenga before everything happens. Then Mnangagwa will be removed. And then after that, the military will remove Mnangagwa and Chiwenga will become the president. Eventually, Chiwenga will become the president of Zimbabwe. So watch those steps that I've just given you. Some of them have still not played out, especially the public exchange of words, because Chiwenga has to declare himself president. He has to declare the intention. And for Chiwenga to declare the intention, it means he has to come off from under Mnangagwa. That has to happen. And it's happening as we speak. That process is taking place, but words have to be exchanged. We have to see an exchange of words between the two men. Then we'll know that things are now on the move. I would like to thank you all for watching and for all your support of everything that we do here. Today we've had a massive day, one of the biggest news days on Gambakwe. We've been present from morning when this thing started, and we're going to be present throughout. And I will not hide any news from you guys. Anything that happens, I'm not going to hide it. I will show you the information as it comes, and you will know that Gambakwe is the place for you to go when you want information about what's happening. I've got so many brothers in the military, people that tell me what's happening, and it's clear what's going to happen. This is not reversible. We are now downhill from here. So the brakes are off, and we are going to the very deep end. That is where we're going, and it won't end without someone dropping. Someone is going to drop. The army does not go out and someone doesn't die. It's so sad, but it's unfortunately true. When the army goes out, someone is going to die. And don't be that person. Don't be a hero. Don't stand in the way of the army. Make sure that you move away and be safe. If you're able, go to a nice place like Victoria Falls, go to a nice place like Kariba, avoid Harare, avoid Bulawayo. Especially on Friday, don't go to that thing that Mnangagwa is going to be doing. Remember, the army said, if they call a demonstration, no one is allowed to be inside. Remember that. You are supposed to come out. So remember all these instructions that have been given by the army. So thank you very much, everyone, for watching. It's been an amazing day, but I'll see you again in the morning at 5 a.m. as I give you the updates from the newspapers. Thank you very much, and a good night